gonna have to find me a streaming service where I won't miss any of the races because I don't have cable no more. We didn't watch it enough to justify paying for it. That and I'm never home. But what I'll do is once we set a schedule, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking on the phone, Dave, I can bring this setup with me and set up in my room and like Charles, and we can do it like a Thursday afternoon, like you mentioned, and I'll just be ready that way
Okay. Well, like
to
I said,
do our thing. We'll work it out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. There's no pressure. Whatever it takes to get her done. I'm just ready to have some fun.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Well, I guess this is the introduction. Just started. Burn It Down podcast, episode 1, and I guess we're gonna just shoot the shit off the cuff, tell it how it is and how it should be, not tiptoe around people and not want to hurt feelings.
Oh, we're good at that.
So I guess everybody can go and introduce themselves, and then we can just go from there. And then we can just
Go ahead, Frank.
topics.
Hello, I'm Frank from South Louisiana. I love NASCAR. I've been a NASCAR fan since the mid '90s. Um, I got into writing some NASCAR blogs in the '90s and the early 2000s, and then that's where I met Dave here, and we got this burning it down going. Thanks to help with Brian. We're looking forward to a new season with a new car and a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. And my name is Dave. Brian is my son, and like Frank said, we met through a previous life of wasn't blogging or well, it was blogging. It was actually an internet show that we did, and Frank wrote some columns for us. Like Frank, I've been a fan since the early '90s, mid '90s. I'm a fan of the 3 Mile fuel line, and if you ain't wrecking your grandma to win, you're not really out there racing. So uh, we're all three here to talk about it. I raised my son right, and he is our producer.
I guess I'm gonna
He's
try
running.
to produce. Yes,
Well, he's running the mothership from Michigan. I'm in North Carolina, and as Frank said, he's in Louisiana. So,
I think
Brian, you got something to say?
I just like I'm just trying to produce as best as I can. I guess it's background, I guess, in it. Um, More or less, the cool thing about this, I would say, is we aren't really talking about topics like let's talk about this on the podcast. Let's talk about this. It's really what we come up with, like throughout the week or whatever happens at the race or whatever, and we talk about it in real time, in real reaction. It's not like, hey, what do you think about Harvick and Elliott, at the Roval? What think about that and have a good segment for the podcast. This is something I feel we just keep it off the cuff and real when it comes to when we do this. That's what I'm
Talk
excited about.
talk about incidents, and we live for stuff like when Joey Logano accused Kevin Harvick's wife of wearing the fire suit in the family. Just stuff that's off the cuff and
You
um
sure you
and
don't have Kevin Harvick and Delana mixed up there?
Well, I don't think about Matt Kenseth when he put Joey Logano into the wall.
yeah, exactly. All right. One thing I do want to start this out with, and it's just something that's really been bothering me or in my craw for a couple of weeks now, and then we can just let things go from there, and y'all keep jumping in. And I'm not trying to take the lead. It's just something I want to make sure we get out there. Is I am really irritated with NASCAR and an incident at Rockingham back in October. And do you guys know what I'm talking about with Mike Harmon?
Yeah, where he got fined for the posting the video or something or testing a car or some shit.
No, he
He
was,
got
according to media reports, he was asked to do a charity event appearance at Rockingham and give rides around um the track. Number one, the track is closed. It's not even a NASCAR sanctioned track anymore.
Right?
Number two, he pulled a Dodge out of his museum to bring to that track and run around.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR fined him $50,000 because he's an Xfinity active driver and called it an unsanctioned test.
If he's giving passengers a ride around the track, how's that contemplate a test?
Exactly. At a charity event for kids.
At a track that's not even raced out anymore.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing: is it a NASCAR owned? And then if it's not, it shouldn't matter.
I don't know if NASCAR still owns that track or not. What I do know,
NASCAR never owned the track. They rented the track from
SMI.
Yeah.
Okay.
It never was a NASCAR owned track, as far as I know.
But the thing is, there's no sanctioned races. He's driving a car that's not even sanctioned by NASCAR at this time, giving kids a ride. And
I haven't seen a picture of the car. I haven't done enough research on it. But did that car have NASCAR written anywhere on it?
You know, that's actually a really good question. I don't know if it did or not. I had it pulled up. It may have. I mean, it was in his museum, so I'm assuming that it probably did.
Right. And that may be
a reasoning.
That and with the talk of possibly Dodge getting back into the series and the timing of this show, okay, could be contemplated if they really want to twist it as a test for a NASCAR platform, a Dodge platform in NASCAR. I don't see that. I see it as NASCAR overstepping their bounds like Dave pretty much does. That it really had nothing to do with NASCAR altogether. But if they want their cut of the money, they're going to find a way to get it.
Yeah. Well, I just think it was a really low blow. And I suppose, because I've read a couple articles that have stated that, you know, technically this and technically that. And I get that. I do. But for the love of God, the guy was out there giving rides to kids at a charity event on a historic NASCAR track. And they want to hit him with a $50,000 fine for being a good guy.
All I can say is we don't know everything that happened. He might have contacted them and says, "Can I do this?" They said no. He said, "Well, screw you. I'm going to pull a car out and do it anyways." So there might have been that talk too. Do I think the fine is steep? Yeah, it's stupid. But in their right, I don't know how I would have gone about it. Because you never know. He might have asked for permission, and he said, "Screw that, I'm doing it anyways." He'll just take the fine. But I don't know if that's actually what happened.
I wonder if it's a NASCAR contract thing since he is an active driver.
Yeah.
Probably might have been not an approved thing to do. I don't know. There might have been a few factors into that.
Right.
Well, in my world, you don't mess with Iron Man, and if you saw his wreck at Bristol, you know what I mean by calling him Iron Man. All right, I'm done with my little bug up my ass. What do you guys got?
Go ahead. You got something?
Yeah, let's talk about the Petty GMS thing. Is Petty actually going away and GMS going to take over? Will the Petty name ever disappear from NASCAR because of this?
No.
According to what I've read, no.
Petty's still going to be the head.
Petty.
Yep.
And he's going to be the ambassador for the brand, supposedly. He's just not going to be in the day-to-day operations and decision-making, but if I have that wrong, I stand corrected.
I think it's a great thing. It gives them actually more money, more this, more that, another good, another teammate, because it's being a single car. Whoever gets in that car, regardless if it was Bubba or who's in it now.
Is it DiBenedetto?
No.
No, unfortunately not.
He raced the 20 car for Gibbs before he got booted. I can't remember his name.
Oh.
Earl Jones?
Yeah. So being a one car team, you ain't gonna do nothing. Now they got the 44 and 45.
I believe so.
Yeah. So
yep.
That's, in my opinion, it's a good deal. Just like the same thing with the 99 and the 1 when they merged. Well, I guess when he got bought out. But I think it's a good thing. It's more money in one group. You're putting a team together. It's not just a whole bunch of runs.
it brings a team like GMF, was that typically was a small funded team
Yep.
into a big name team organization, gives them a boost as well.
I
So it
think
helps
it's a
both
good thing.
organizations.
I think it's a good thing because Petty's just been going downhill ever since John Andretti. Last time they really won in that car.
Well, actually, ever since Kyle's boy.
Yeah, but he was still Busch and Arca. He never raced in that car. He died in the 45
but
car.
No, he died in the 45 in the Cup Series race.
Yeah, up at New Hampshire.
Yep.
Oh, was it? I
He was
thought it
in
was
a Cup-
Busch.
Nope.
No.
He was in a Cup Series race in the 45.
Well,
It says they've got Eric Jones as his sole driver.
Eric Jones and the who was it? Oh, Dylan.
Ty Dillon?
Ty Dillon's the other driver. I believe. I believe Ty Dillon is the 45.
Okay, I haven't seen that. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's a great move. How old is Richard Petty? He's got to be pushing 80 years old, if not. I mean, I don't know if he's that old or not, but my God, time for him to step back. I know ever
84.
since his wife Linda died, he's thrown himself into the business. But
what's Kyle like? About 60?
he needs to just go run his Victory Junction and I'm sorry,
Kyle lost it when Adam died.
Oh, 45 is Kyle Busch. I'm sorry. It's 42 and 40. 42 is Ty Dillon. 43 is 45 is Kurt Busch. Forgot about that.
Yeah, he went to
23-11 racing. Yeah, it was Bubba. 42 and 40. 40.
Right.
No, Kyle is I think he's a good strategist.
In his day, he was a hell of a driver.
All right.
I'm not going to go with, I'm not looking at wins. I'm not looking at championships. I'm looking at the fact that Kyle, when he was on the track, he knew what he was doing. A lot of drivers don't win championships. Look at Mark Martin. But they're there, and they're competitive, and they know how to race.
Fundamentals don't mean you're a good driver. He knows fundamentals. He won how many races? A couple? Kyle, I
don't even know if he won any. Did he?
He's won a few in his early days.
He's won a couple. In his early days.
Early days, yeah.
Wasn't he a teammate with Sterling Marlin for a while?
It was before my time.
I was going to say.
All right.
You guys Sterling Marlin was in the 40 for as long as I can remember when I got into racing. And from there, I think
he was in the 4 for a long time.
Yeah, he was in the 4 Kodiak car too. I think that I'm not sure if that was when, because who was in the 4 when I started watching? Robert Presley, maybe?
Kyle Petty only won 4 races.
Ernie Irvan, no?
Maybe Ernie Irvan.
Kyle Petty only won 4 races, 1979, 1980, and then he won another one in 1984. Out of Petty.
Were they all out of Petty?
Only 3 of them were. 1979, 80, and he only won 1.
Okay. Yeah, you got that right. He's only won 4 races. And I'm not. You know what? I think what you said, Frank, was a really good analogy as far as comparing him to Mark Martin. I think he's the difference between him and Mark Martin, in my opinion, is that he thought he was better than he was, and Mark Martin never thought he was as good as he was. You know what I'm saying?
But you got to realize today, Mark Martin had to go behind Jeff Gordon.
His whole career, Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
Before Gordon, even before Gordon, Mark's attitude was he wasn't. Mark never saw himself as a championship driver.
He felt like he had to prove himself over and over.
I mean, like I said, I just
and he did each week.
Yeah,
he did. And you know the thing with Mark Martin too, in my opinion, is he was a great teammate. If he knew he didn't have the car to win, he'd get behind, Jeff Burton or Carl Edwards or
Correct.
Matt Kenseth, and he would accept second place and not try and gum it up.
Even when it was Chad Little or Kurt Busch or even one of them.
Yep.
When they were
Exactly.
at Roush.
He was a great, and I do believe that's why he did not win as many races as. There's a lot of races I can remember watching in the 80s and 90s where he could have wrecked a teammate or had an oopsie moment and won a race, and he decided to be a company team player.
Even at times he could have wrecked somebody that wasn't a teammate and wouldn't wreck them.
No, you're exactly right, because he would be I can remember him and Rusty Wallace going back and forth, but there was that level of respect between the two. If
Right.
you look back on the films, I could be completely wrong on this, but I don't recall ever seeing either one of those two wrecking each other. Now, you can go back on the films and see Dale Earnhardt getting into it with almost anybody. You can see Richard Petty almost getting into it with everybody.
Right.
But you look back at Mark Martin, I don't recall him ever, putting somebody in the fence to get by him, win a race or whatever.
Yeah. The only time I wish he would have was Daytona when Kevin Harvick passed him. I was so mad that race. I threw a remote control for my TV through a window.
Oh my. Did we do that? I've never gotten that mad.
I'm sitting there going, and in any race before that, NASCAR throws the caution and so they have to race through a wreck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they throw the caution. They wreck when the time the wreck start. Mark's in the lead by half a car length over Kevin. All right. And I'm waiting for the yellow to come out, and it doesn't come out. Kevin gets around him on the outside. I'm going. No, and I was so mad. I'm telling you. And the thing is, what got me even more mad is one of the reasons I love Mark so much is he didn't get mad.
Yeah.
Okay. In his post-race interview, he did not get mad. They didn't throw the caution. And I'm watching this, and I just got off my chair, yelled, and I threw my remote, and I went through my living room window.
One of my favorite moments, and Brian, I can't remember if you went to this race or not, but it was the year that both Mark Martin and Rusty were retiring. Well,
05?
pseudo retiring, and were you with us that year at Michigan when they put him on the stage in the rocking chairs? Do you remember that, or was you not? I can't remember.
I think I remember, but it's been.
Well, one of my this is back in the day when we used to go to both the August and the June race, and we would camp on the infield in August or in June, and we would camp in the outfield in August. And
How y'all would help Dennis Terry at?
Pardon me?
Is that where y'all would help Dennis Terry in the pits in Michigan?
No, that was at Chicago, where
Okay, all right.
we did that a couple times. It was at Chicagoland.
Okay, my bad.
But I'll never forget them doing that presentation. I can't. It had to be in the June race, or no, it was the August, because we had a bunch of we had Dave and Gail and a bunch of those folks around. But anyway, they had them on the stage and they were doing the presentation and all that, and Rusty Wallace got up and did a great speech about how, what a wonderful career and, blah, blah, blah. And Mark Martin got up and said just a few very things. And one of them that he said was, I never said I was retiring. I said I was leaving Roush Racing. And it was the very next year he was driving the U.S. Army car and with Joe Nemechek as a partner, or a teammate. I'll never forget that. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And he was just taking all the accolades and all the rocking chairs and all the other stuff he could grab. They're probably sitting in his showroom at his Ford dealership right now. But that was one of my, like I said, that was one of my
Actually,
favorites.
the rocking chairs aren't in the dealership. I can tell you that now.
Okay, you've been there.
I was there last March, and the rocking chairs aren't there.
But it was funny when he got up and he announced it to everybody. He's like, I'm not retiring. I didn't say that. I said I'm leaving Roush Racing.
He never said that he was retiring. He said he was leaving Roush Racing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and on that topic, he tried getting Ford to give him a part-time ride, and Ford wouldn't do it. Ford wouldn't. The deal between Ford and Roush, they wouldn't give Mark a part-time ride, because
Because he drove a
that's all he
Chevy.
wanted.
Yeah,
That's
he
all he
drove a
wanted at the time, because his boy Matt was going to start racing, and he wanted to be there more for Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Matt decided not to race anymore, is when he tried to run full time again. After that,
Yeah, and again, it was Chevy that he was running for. Well, I think it was a 3-year deal that he did
I
with
feel,
them.
yeah, he and the thing is, and that pissed everybody off too, because he was going to be part time, and Gene Hess
That's
after
it.
Gene Hess, after he won so many races in the '01 car and was leading the points at the end of the fifth race, Mark Martin had the option that year to run the entire season in the '01 and chose not to do it, to give it up for whoever's taking it on after him.
Yep.
Okay. The same thing with Hendricks when he ran the 5 car. Okay. He was only supposed to run so many races. And when he was running so well in the points, all right, after Bristol that year, Rick Hendrick made the comment on live TV that if Mark wants this ride full season, it's his.
Didn't he stay with them full time though?
Yes.
He did. He ended up going full time, but I don't think his
Yeah.
first year was full time. I think his first year was part time.
Who was he sharing that with? Was that Ricky Hendrick?
No, it was
Because I do remember him doing a partial season where he didn't drive full time for Hendricks, but I don't recall the circumstances.
I don't either. I think it was his first season, and he did so well that he ended up running a couple seasons full time
Yeah,
before going to
because
the
that's right at the
55
time.
after that.
Yeah, that's at the time when Junior wanted to come over from DEI and Hendrick's famous statement that there's no room at the inn.
Right.
Yeah. So
Down
all
memory.
right.
That was down memory lane. You want to go to the next topic that I have?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Buddy.
My thing that I thought was really surprising that just came up this past week: sponsors. M&M dropping Kyle Busch, or not dropping, just leaving the sport. These
Yeah,
full-time huge sponsors are leaving, and it's true. I watched a few things. It's right. It's so much money to keep these race cars going, and the fact that M&M, that's been in it since the early 2000s, maybe 90s, late 90s, with Ken Schrader, the 36 car.
Oh no, they were okay. Yeah, Ken Schrader,
But think
You're
about how long
correct.
they've been there.
Ernie Irvin.
Yeah,
Ernie
so
Irvin.
them leaving, that's just huge loss in my opinion. That's a huge staple because that's Skittles, that's M&Ms, that's all of them.
Snickers.
Yeah.
Anything Mars. Yeah.
So
yeah, there's got to be a business reason for that because
it's too much money. I watched a video and they said the reasoning is a lot of people take sponsorship on cars nowadays to get their name out. M&M don't need their name out. Everybody knows what M&Ms are. Everybody knows what Skittles are. Everybody already knows what Snickers are.
Right.
Only thing they're really doing is promoting a new flavor, a new variety pack. They don't need to put $7.5 million a race, or $750,000 or something, whatever it is per car, to put that on there. It's not for them anymore. They don't need to.
Yeah, you're probably correct.
And my pitch, and the bottom line is, why does it cost that much money to sponsor a car?
A lot of that goes into testing and the buying parts and paying the driver. There's all kind of different things it breaks down to.
Well, everything's coming from NASCAR now. It's coming, with the frames and all the motors. Everything's the same now. Everyone's coming. They're being supplied by NASCAR. It's not being built in-house. At least the frames aren't anymore.
No, the frames aren't. No, the engines are still being built in-house, and they're still being, according to what I'm understanding from a interview I listened to a month ago, they're still building their own engines. The different engine building companies are still as per NASCAR specs. There are certain vendors they can buy the parts from. There's certain specs the parts have to be, and they have to pass certain tests. So the companies are still buying and still building their own engines.
It's the frame and the arrow on it and everything
Right.
else that NASCAR controls. I get that.
Right. um, uh, at some point, we're going to look at a point to where they're going to be like ARCA, and they're going to end up having just buying crate engines. I'm just hoping that time never comes.
Well, they're limiting what they can do with their motor anyway, so might as well.
Right.
I don't believe I shouldn't be. If you can do a Chad Knaus or a Ray Evernham and sneak in these little tidbits and get the extra edge, go ahead.
And they're going to with what they have now. They still have that little bit of edge they can play with, just not much of one.
Yeah.
Your power teams are even with a new car, a new engine this year. Your power teams are still going to be your power team. Still going to be Hendrick. It's still going to be Penske. Still going to be.
I think
Gibbs.
this year is going to be not a whitewash, but it's going to be a lot closer than what you people think because of the new car. There's still going to be power teams, but I think it's going to be closer than people think because they don't have any data on these new, especially on all these tracks.
Yeah, but this year they are going back to practice and qualify.
Thank God.
I think, yeah, no kidding. I didn't realize how much I actually missed that.
Right.
It was dumb. If you won the race, you got pole the next race.
Yeah.
How dumb.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't. You don't. I don't understand why they did it because of COVID, but just after the first season, they shouldn't have done it. Last year, they should have never kept away from practicing. And honestly,
see, I'm of the mind, and Brian, again, I don't know that you may remember this, but I loved it when they did 2-day qualifying. The first day they qualified for the top 20, and then the second day they did the back 20.
I remember when they took a qualifying motor and qualified with the motor, and then you took that bitch out and put your race motor in.
Right.
Now you touch it, you go to the back of the line.
The qualifying motor was lighter and wasn't made to last. It was made to.
Yeah, it was made to do 2 laps, and if it blew up, if it didn't blow up, it was a good day. Yeah.
Right.
So I remember that.
Cool.
Now if you touch it, you know.
You had, and the thing is, you also had a qualifying setup where you adjust the car strictly for qualifying.
A trim setup,
and then you went back to after qualifying, and you set up for a race, completely different setup.
Yeah, now they impound the car, so you can't even touch them.
Yeah, that's what practice used to be for: is get out of qualifying trim and into race mode.
Yeah,
right.
Now they confined everything to pretty much be a 1-day practice, then qualifying, and then after qualifying practice, and your car is impounded.
I can remember at Michigan one year, and I think it was Elliott Sadler, and this is back when again they did the 2-day qualifying, and Elliott Sadler had a horrible day on day 1. No, it was on day 1. He barrel rolled down the front stretch,
in the corner.
That car was so bent up and whopper jawed they couldn't even fit it on a rollback. They put it up against the pit wall. It took them almost a day and a half to figure out how to get that car out of there. They did day 2 qualifying with that car up there in turn 1 on the pit wall because they couldn't. There's no other than a regular hook, but it was so jacked up and screwed up they couldn't move it. It was hilarious. But I mean, I'll tell you what, the king of second day qualifying, hands down, was Dale Earnhardt. They totally miss it on day 1 and come back and be P1 on day 2 and beat the actual pole numbers and did it all the time.
Do you know who got affected by the most or not having practice and qualifying the past 2 years? Who got affected the most? Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch. Look what happened. He could not get his car tuned for the race. During the race, they couldn't really ever get it ready for, you know how most people adjust during the race so they do good. That's what his practices and qualifyings were for that. If you look, he won the championship, and then this happened. He couldn't do anything the last 2 years because he didn't.
I do remember him last year a couple of times making a comment as to why he was racing so many Xfinity races because he couldn't get any points.
Couldn't get no practice. He had no practice, and he's a very diligent practice guy. What's my car feeling like to what I need adjusted? And it's hard for anybody in the NASCAR Cup to adjust a car mid-race. Usually they're chasing the car for 400 or 500 miles. And it's hard for him to relay information because he's screaming on the damn microphone the whole time, but
Right.
when he's angry. So it's, the fact that he's won a few races is good, but it's him having no practice and no qualifying really probably hurt him the most.
I've been out of it so much the last couple of years, I never realized that it affected him that much.
Oh yeah,
It did.
he
Well,
really
again, I
hasn't
remember-
performed.
Yeah, I remember last year somebody actually asked him why he was racing so many of Xfinity races last year when there was nothing to gain for him other than enhancing his bank account. And he says, "Because I can't."
Nope.
He says, "I need to do something to help get my Sunday car ready."
Yep.
So
See how that helped the cars being so different. I mean, you're running the Supra on Saturday and the Celica on the Celica on Sunday, and or the Camry on Sunday, and the setups and the weights and the dispersion of power is so different on the two cars. That I don't see how that even helps.
Well, it's probably helping with, how the track feels, with this and that. I know it's not going to help the car because they're two different cars, but it's like, this past year they raced on how many different racetracks compared to previous years. They raced on dirt, and then they raced COTA. They've raced all these other racetracks they've never raced on before, so they needed to practice on it. So they had to go in the divisions to, get some experience on that track, especially COTA. In the rain, everybody hated that this past year.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what Brian said too is very valid. It wasn't so much about the car. I think it was more about the track and the conditions and the transition of the track as the race went on, how it affected the car. It's going to be different, but it's gonna, like the rate of transition and how fast it happens. I think he could relate. To help him tell the crew.
Yeah, he's good enough driver to say, hey, this is what's happening in this car. What can we do to my car?
Yeah, I felt this yesterday at about this point, and here's what happened after. So I think again,
did he have the same crew chiefs on each one?
No,
probably not.
Yeah,
but he's got enough smarts to feel those. I mean, I've always said I'm not the biggest Kyle fan in the world.
He's smart as hell,
by
though.
A long shot, but he's got more talent in his little pinky than he does of the majority of drivers on that track.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Just raw talent. It's instinct and ability.
The only one right now that might even have him covered is Kyle Larson.
Chase Elliott's right behind him.
Yeah,
true. In Chase Elliott this offseason, if you haven't been paying attention, he's been doing a Kyle Larson, racing anything and everything he can get his ass in. He's been racing everything, and it's been public, saying I'm just trying to get experience and everything I can because he sees what Kyle Larson has done, especially with the year coming up. They don't know what they're going to come into with these new cars, so he's like, I need experience. Even though he's a champion, he wants to have as much time behind the wheel and anything he can. I'm going to do it. And he doesn't do that.
I really think that this year it's going to come down to Kyle and Chase. I really do. And put Kyle in there too, Kyle Busch.
I was gonna say let's wait for that. I was gonna say I have a thing here. What are your predictions for the end of the year? So let's wait.
All right.
Let's wait for that.
Sorry, I was being.
I know. I have a few things I want to say at the end. Up. That's one of them, and I have a couple.
Carry on, producer.
Hey, I already had mine. Mine was the sponsors. If you want to do another one.
One thing I do is, as long as we're obviously recording this, and I think you're probably going to end up putting up, is something I do want to cover, is we've lost some people over the last couple of weeks, and I just want to kind of give a little bit of a shout out towards that. Danny Earnhardt. All right. He was one of those behind the scenes guys.
Earnhardt's
I
lost
don't
a lot
know
this
a lot
year,
about him. I haven't done a lot of actual research, but it's an Earnhardt. I believe we also lost
Grandma Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt's mother, Martha.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to give a little shout out to that.
And
Nancy Wood.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, the wife of Lenny Wood. She was
okay,
another great matriarch with the family and the business. Um, and even though he only raced a couple of Daytona 500s, is Al Unser Sr. My God,
Oh yeah.
an icon
yeah,
in racing world.
yes.
So, I probably missed a few, but I'll tell you what, we've
I
lost some big
one that
names.
comes to mind has, and I don't know if he's actually passed yet or not. I know it's coming. Is Brad Kolowski's dad?
No, he
He's
did.
gone.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
passed
he
like 2 weeks
passed as
ago.
well.
Yep.
Yep, he succumbed to cancer, from what I read.
Oh,
Um, I'll never forget when he got on camera and said he was going to kill
Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards.
Yep. Carl Edwards when he spun him at Talladega.
No, that was Iowa.
Iowa. I
That
thought it was
was an
Talladega.
Xfinity race at Iowa, where, if I remember correctly, where Carl Edwards took Keselowski out, and he said, "I'll put my fire suit on and I'll go kill that boy." But yeah, you're right. Good call on that one. Uh, I've got some other things here, but no, that's good. And I know we're pushing our hour thing,
was
so I'll
Talladega.
just let. Huh?
It was Talladega.
Was it Talladega?
Yep. 2009 Aaron.
It may have started at Iowa and then crescendoed there, but those two, Carl.
That's
Edwards
when
and
Carl
Brad,
Edwards was in the 0-1 car. He wasn't. He was just getting his start in
Right.
the 0-9 car.
And Brad's dad was mad because
Yeah.
they actually gave Edwards a start previously.
Yeah.
You know, a truck ride, was it?
0-9 car.
okay. But
2009 Talladega.
didn't that whole thing start? I thought it was at Iowa where that whole bugaboo got started.
I did it start in a truck race. Because
It could have.
I don't remember. I just know the one that you're talking about where he
Right.
got on it was the Talladega one where Kowalski would.
And his dad said he's
Okay.
trying
Yeah.
to kill him. Yeah, okay.
YouTube's
All right.
YouTube's a great thing for us. We got another topic.
next time I'll have my other computer set up that way
I can pull it up real quick. It's just I don't want to waste time with dead air, you know.
right.
I hear
right,
you.
right.
All right.
You got anybody else got another topic? Wrote down.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
It's not big, but it kind of is. Is NASCAR? Well, NBCSN leaving, or not leaving, but getting dropped January 1st. Now it's USA.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's going to USA.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So it's gonna be NASCAR's gonna be on USA now. When in the second half of the season, when it's on NBC.
Yep.
First half's Fox and whatever. The second half's NBC. It's no longer be NBCSN when it's not on NBC. It's gonna be USA. I think that's kind of I guess bad because USA is not a over the air. It's not a you gotta have cable for that.
I agree.
You can't stream it nowhere? Not USA?
No, you gotta have a subscription.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cable subscription of some sort. I'm sure you can. There's online plenty of illegal ones, but it's not like you can watch Fox, with your antenna.
Right. Right.
I don't know if it's gonna hurt viewership or not, but
You know what that whole story told me was that NBC isn't getting their bang for their buck.
well, it's kind of like how Speed Channel got shut down, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's I thought I knew that was coming. It just kind of brought up recently that January 1st, there's no more NBCSN, no more of that.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. But I long for the days when NASCAR used to be on USA and TNT and TNN.
Some of the best broadcasting that was in.
Oh yeah, back then, and it wasn't on the major cable network other than the Daytona 500. Basically, I think that was CBS, wasn't it? that used
I
to
want to
do.
say yes, it was CBS, but
Yeah.
I can't, don't.
There was
Mike,
CBS, ESPN. They've been all over the place. I think they're on TNT at a time.
they were
Yeah,
TNT and TNN.
yeah,
I think they each took like 6 week stints.
yeah. So
If I
I
rem-
don't think it's a bad thing, but I think they need to put it out there more because not very many people know that they did that yet.
Yeah. No, I saw where NBCSN or whatever was canceled and that NBC dropped them. And again, I just think that's another business deal where they're not
Yeah, it
getting their
wasn't.
bang for
Yeah,
their
yeah,
buck.
no. And NBCSN was strictly, motorsports, pretty much. If you were switched to it, it's either, Moto GP or trucks or monster trucks or NASCAR. Or it was, and so, it didn't appeal to a lot of people. So I guess, they weren't getting their viewership or money or sponsorship money or commercial what they needed. So they said, we're going to drop it and shift it over to the USA.
Well, sooner or later, NASCAR will, in my opinion, realize that they've jumped the shark on a lot of things. And I just, I can opine about the past and all that.
I don't think with the future of broadcasting, the way things are going, there's nothing they can do to fix that. So it
Well,
is what it is.
anytime nowadays, I can Google right now and I can watch USA online.
Right.
I can find a stream. So it's not going to be hard. So they're going to
No.
lose viewership anyways. So somebody's not going to subscribe to whatever TV, subscriber they need to go watch it. So they're not going to have the numbers they had in the 90s and 2000s. Not going to happen.
Well, and until NASCAR takes their fist off of this even playing, and I'm sorry, I'm sick and tired of the even playing field. I want people to do what they have to do to win. If they can find something, I'll never forget back. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I want to say it was the early to mid '90s when Jack Rouse threw a shit fit about how Ford had a disadvantage, and I was standing in the stands saying, "Shut the f up, figure it out, and get better."
Well, fucking
And I
Chevy
think
had
that
Chevy
That
had a
was the-
disadvantage 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They were down and out, and Toyota was
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah. That was the year they switched from the Thunderbird to the Taurus.
I think you're correct. So what? I mean,
This year is gonna be a shit show, anyways, because nobody really
Right.
understands this car. Only thing, if you don't know, the frame on every car, either it be a Toyota, Ford, or Chevy, is the same. Only thing
all
different
right, so
on
you walk into the dealership on Monday morning and you go to a Ford dealership, a Chevy, or a Toyota. Are they all the same except for the
I
freaking
agree.
nose?
only thing different
come
is the
on.
shell on these cars. Is the
You
shell.
know,
Shell
the-
nose, yeah. And the motor.
the shit show about all this is going to be this one lug tire.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one thing I tweeted out not too long ago because they were talking about all this next gen car. I'm like, can you tell me one car that's a Ford, Chevy, or a Toyota that has a one lug on it? That's a stock. You can't. So how is this a stock
What
car?
happens the first time you cross thread that mug? You're done.
I
mean,
don't.
You
I
get
don't.
a 5 or 6 on the old spindle,
Yeah.
and if you cross thread one, okay, you can probably limp your way through. You cross thread that, and it's gonna happen. You watch.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Well,
happen.
If they go, if they go with the same technology that F1 and Indy's using on the one lug nut, that won't be the issue. The issue I'm looking at on this
It's not stock.
is not one, it's not stock. Two, crash components. An Indy car with the tires they're made to collapse. They're made to end. They're made to protect the driver. A NASCAR race car is not that way. They're made to wreck and keep racing. Okay,
Well, you have 5 minutes
all
to
right,
get your car back up to speed.
right. With the one lug thing, you're gonna see more cars have to be towed back to the garage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's gonna be
because of
interesting
that issue.
how that rim works out because it's
Right.
alloy, right? It's not even steel anymore.
Right.
That's why they had to do the lug because it's a different type of metal.
Well, like I said, NASCAR really needs to take a inner look at themselves and remember what the S in NASCAR stands for.
Oh,
And they have totally gone off page with that.
do you know another
Yeah.
thing about the next gen car? There's no rear view mirror. It's a camera.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a rear view camera. No longer a mirror. It's a camera.
Yeah,
They
wait
can
till
literally.
Harvick gets done with your
Well,
rear bumper and
he,
see how
yeah.
it works.
Well, it's the thing is though. When they were testing, I've been keeping a kind of a close eye on it. You know how they can, let's say at Talladega and Daytona, they always try to who's the fastest line. They try to cut it. They cut it. They cut it. To get,
Mhm.
and they don't have to look at the rear view mirror anymore. They got a damn camera to show the line. They don't even need a spotter to say, hey, the top line's coming in quick. They can literally see it. Before they had it's shaking. It's hard for them to see. Now they got a camera that they can literally see that run coming from so far. I just don't know how far they can see, how wide does it go? Because, what if they go kind of too late? They can't see. So I have a feeling that's going to cause a lot of problems because they can see more than they've ever will this coming car.
I guess that's probably a good thing for the safety. However, you're taking more driver
Out of it.
ability out.
Yep.
And it was always said that Dale Earnhardt could take. Well, I saw him roll a car at Talladega.
It's got 4 wheels. Let's go.
Yeah, get me back in that car. It's still okay.
Yeah. Well,
I
yep.
don't know.
This year is going to be very interesting because no one knows really how this car is acting. I know they're testing diligently pretty good right now. I know there's been a few wrecks recently and the car's performed. That was another big thing because they haven't been giving the NASCAR drivers information on wrecking. Like, they were going 200 miles an hour. How's it perform? NASCAR wasn't giving them that information till recently. And it actually is performing well because the driver is more center. It's got more of this and more of that. The only thing I do like about this next-gen car, let's say you get rear-ended. All you got to do is unclip that rear end, put a new one on. Your car is good to go. You don't need to get a whole new frame, cut it, That is one good aspect of this car. So that I like. You're not spending a whole, body shop to rebuild the whole frame. You just got to get that rear end clip and bolt it back on. It's literally bolts. I have a video somewhere I have to show you. It's literally it's 3 clips: the front clip, the middle cage, and the back clip.
Well,
You say that. I was getting my oil change in my Dodge truck this past week, and the guy I was talking to, his friend of his had an F-250, and he had to bring him to the dealership to get something worked on the engine. We happened to look in the garage, and he sees the cab of his truck in the air. Okay. They had to unbolt the cab. There's literally 4 bolts to hold the front clip on. They had to unbolt it to work on the engine and bolt it back. The guy said after he got his truck back, he drove around 2 miles around the corner, went to the Dodge dealership, bought him a Dodge 2500. He wasn't going to drive a truck that was held together by 4 bolts. Now, that just got me picturing that conversation when you mentioned how easy it was to change the rear clip on the cars. That's all that's holding these body parts on, how much more debris are we going to see on the track?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Are they going to put ropes like they do on hoods and trunk latches? It's going to be roped together to make so it don't fly off. Let's say what happens when Austin Dillon thing happens again. When he flipped over,
Right.
The whole Tony Stewart ran under the fence. They're going to be shredded.
who was it that tossed a motor into the stands at Daytona? Was that Kyle Larson?
No, that was in the stands.
Yeah, he hit the catch fence and it shredded the car so bad the motor went right through the fence. It's been about
Only people that I
5,
know that done that were Carl Edwards and I know Austin Dillon, but his motor didn't go in the stands.
Yes, it was.
What about Jeff Bodine in the truck?
Oh, jeez, that was horrible. But all right, what else you got, Bri?
This one's kind of political. I don't know if you know, but the Brandon Brown, the truck driver that
I love it.
He got the
He's
sponsorship
got a
of
full-time sponsor.
the LGB FGB, the
Oh.
fuckjoebiden.coin.io sponsor.
Yeah.
The 68. So, and there's apparently controversy on that. I don't know.
It's all right.
I don't know
He's
how.
gonna have more support than anybody on the whole track.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. So that was what he's a 60. I'm pretty sure that's Arca or that Xfinity, whichever
I think
was.
it's Xfinity.
So it's Xfinity.
Xfinity.
Yeah. So I knew it was a car. So it's number 68. So that came up this past week. Brandon Brown, the guy who won the truck race and the whole.
Replaced the FJB.
Yeah. So he got his own sponsorship with that. So I thought that was kind of funny, cool, and ironic. And it's all in one. So that's gonna cause a lot of stir, especially with dipshit.
Yeah. There
The
both
lefties.
the investigations on both sides of actually what happened.
Yeah. Brandon Brown adds LGB, which is Let's Go Brandon
Coin,
for
yeah.
full Xfinity season.
Yeah.
I love it. That is some awesome stuff right there. Because a lot of the sponsors that he had at the time that happened, they bailed on him for political correctness.
Right.
Now he's got a full-time sponsorship for the whole year. I'm sorry. I love it. I love it.
I just sent you guys a video on your phone about the car.
Okay, I just got it. I'll look at it later.
No, I know that wasn't really anything crazy, but I thought that was pretty funny that he got a sponsorship for that. Coming up on 51 minutes, so I don't know if you guys want to dwindle down or how far you guys want to go.
Okay.
I think an hour is good enough, and we're kind of fumbling around right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really say
Frank?
fumbling. If you have one more topic, we can go from there.
Well, what is y'all views on the speculation of the fourth sponsor, the sports manufacturer coming in? And two, what's Chevy going to do in 24 when they stop making the Camaro?
Are you talking about Honda coming in?
They don't know yet. Honda's one of the names. Nissan's actually a name in the mix, and so is Dodge.
The reason being they're making this next gen car was to bring in other car manufacturers. I knew this back when. They're trying to make it cheaper so they can do that. So I see Dodge coming, but they got to do what Toyota did back in the day and get anybody they can to flip. Now, Honda and everybody else, that's iffy because they've never been in the sport. Honda and Nissan. So that'd be interesting.
Nissan has an in if they just come into the truck series for the Titan.
They just can't come straight into the Cup Series. I think they need to work their way up through truck, the ARCA.
Honda has nothing in trucks that'll compete with anything. That what they have for a truck is a joke.
Honda Ridgeline or whatever it is.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know what Honda has to offer as far as a vehicle, other than possibly the Accord or whatever coming into Xfinity or Cup. Nissan can come in right now, the Titan, and I'm sure can be competitive.
Honestly, I hope if anybody, a fourth manufacturer, it's a reemergence of Dodge.
I agree.
I agree.
Like you said, there's not much that Honda or Nissan has to offer, in my opinion.
Well, Nissan has more than Honda.
Well, I still don't want either one of them.
Yeah.
And at least Dodge is an American company. Not that I know we can get into the whole semantics of what's built where.
It's just an American name.
Yeah. We'll see.
What's Chevy going to do in 24?
What just caught my attention is I was unaware of, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of research. As you said, they're going to stop making Camaro in 2024.
Yes, Chevy announced it last week that the discontinuation of the Camaro in 2023 or 2024.
Go to Corvette. No, I have no idea. They could do Malibu.
Right. I'm just going out there because That's
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And with Camaro being an icon for the company,
I was
you
gonna
know,
say that is just. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. I haven't seen that, but man, that just doesn't make any sense to me on the business side, I guess.
right. I mean, sure, NASCAR, they'll find something to swamp to, like, say, to Malibu or something.
Now let's go
But,
back to the Lumina.
yeah.
I don't know. That's amazing. I had not heard that
Yeah,
anywhere.
I
That,
just
that
looked. Here dies in 2024 off the model.
well, then I like the car. I got a lot better. It's going to become more valuable.
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably come out with a brand new car. Like probably come.
Right.
They'll probably make one literally, just for NASCAR.
Yeah.
They had the Monte Carlo for so long, the Luminous for so long. They'll come up with something. I'm pretty sure that's already in talks. That's what that's their staple for NASCAR. So they're gonna come with a high performance car. It can't be Corvette. It's too streamlined. It won't look
Right.
like it. So they can't do that.
Right.
Especially now, it looks like a damn supercar. I guess we can go into say final thoughts. I know it's kind of early. I was gonna say, who do you think each one of you who you think is gonna win the championship? Who's gonna contend? Who could be the final four? Who would win? And then my guess would be who's gonna be your dark horse and rookie of the year. And there's only 3 rookies, by the way.
I don't even know who the rookie of the year is. Or
Rookies, there's
of
Austin Cindric in the number 2, and then we got Harrison Burton in the 21, and then Todd Gilliland in the 38. Looked it up
Oh,
earlier.
I'll tell you right now, it's Harrison Burton.
Hendrick might.
I'm looking at the 2 car. I'm sorry. I got to look at the performance history of the 2 car. And as far as competitive wise, the 3 drivers, I think they're about equal in talent. So I'm going to go with the 2 car being rookie of the year.
Okay.
I think Harrison can do it.
Harrison Burton's got.
I like both, but that was my kind of like things. Who do you think's rookie of the year? Who's gonna be your final 4 in the cup, and who you think's gonna win?
Wow.
I know.
The fact that I really haven't followed enough to say.
Well, this year's gonna be a crapshoot because it's all new. Everyone's got to learn.
Right.
I'll go on the final 4. And I'm very strong on this. It's going to be Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Kevin Harvick. Because I think Kevin Harvick's going to have a redemption year. And as much as this pains me to say, Kevin Harvick's going to win the championship. I think he is on a mission this coming year because he had such a crap year last year. But that's just my...
Ford in general had a crap year last year.
Yep. But I think they're going to go the trajectory of Chevy with the Camaro. I think they're going to get it figured out
Right.
for whatever reason. But that's, like I said, Kyle, Chase, and Kevin.
I'm going to go. I've got to go with Kyle Larson. I got to agree with there. Chase. Okay. I can't think. I don't know if I want to actually say Kyle Busch on the Toyota side or not. I am going to throw one out that might surprise you because I couldn't stand this driver back in the early days. But I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with my history and what I like. And I'm going to say Brad Keselowski is going to put that 6 in the final 4.
He has something to prove. I agree. He has something to prove.
That wouldn't surprise me. It's a good call, brother.
Who's gonna be like a dark horse? I don't think
so, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Who's like gonna be your dark horse surprise of the year?
Yeah, that would definitely be my high core. Be 6. Be my surprise of the year. Seeing the 6 come up because they've had such a rough last 10 years. Not that I think only one driver can make a difference, but Brad's knowledge and Brad's expertise and some of the things in racing will definitely make a difference.
But you still have the Jack Roush factor, which, I mean,
I've been a Jack Roush fan since I started racing, and I've been waiting for I've been waiting for a Roush driver to come back up to say that I'll back, and I know Brad's talent, and I think Brad can. If anybody can do it, Brad can bring the six pack to the front.
Okay.
I guess my fourth driver for the top final four. I'll go with Cindric.
Ooh, that's bold.
That's bold.
Who's your dark horse, Dad?
Oh, man, I'm drawing a mental blank. Chase's best friend, Penske.
Ryan Blaney?
Yes.
He's a
I'm
good
not
pick.
saying he's a dark horse, but I didn't put him in my final four. If you want to go, man, I wasn't prepared, but this is what I like.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for it. Dark horse.
Somebody who doesn't normally do well, I think is going to do well because of the new car. It's going to even the playing field out, at least for the first half. But it's dark horse. I already have mine. I'm not going to say it until after.
All right, you go ahead. I'm going to do a little.
I think my final four is going to be Kyle Larson. I think Kyle's going to win it again because he can drive anything with the damn wheels, regardless, and he's proven that. I think Chase is going to be second. I would say William Byron third, and then I can say Denny Hamlin because he's just always been consistent throughout the year. My dark horse is going to be Ty Dillon.
Okay.
I think he's going to try to bring Petty back, and he's got something to prove. He took a year off. He hasn't been taking his granddaddy's money in racing and, Richard Childress racing. Right. He took the last year off racing anything he can, and now he's coming back. I think he has something to prove. I don't think he might make the top 16. I think he'd be a dark horse contending with now he's got Petty GMS and, with Eric. But I think Ty Dillon will surprise people, I think, because he in the Geico car back when he didn't have shit. He just was there running around. He didn't have the money. They didn't have, if he crashed it, they were hurting. So I think with now he can, go out there and put some balls to the wall. I think he'll do surprising well. Now, I think Kyle Larson will win the championship again.
Okay.
I didn't pick a championship driver, did I?
I think you said Kyle Larson, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay.
And I agree with that. But here you go. I unblocked my mental. Tyler Riddick.
Yeah, he's
nice choice.
Yeah.
He
actually had very good moments last year with spurts, but it showed that get him some wheels and I guess confidence is what he needs.
He has shown his potential, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's my dark horse.
I can agree with that. Other than that, that was my final thing was I wanted to ask that.
You kind of surprised me because I really wasn't prepared for that one either.
So I just wrote down a few things and that was one of them. I guess the next one later on would be the Daytona, but that's.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna get my Twitter back up and running. I closed it a while back, so I'll get it back up. We'll keep in touch through either Facebook or we got each other's phone number. I'll save your number this time, Brian.
It's fine.
Well, we'll stay in touch.
What I'll do is once I finish this blog I'm writing, I'll shoot it to both of y'all to get your thoughts, figure out how we're gonna publish it.
Well, let's do this. Let's close this one down, and then we can get back on FaceTime to discuss future. Because I'm assuming Brian, you're recording this.
Yes.
Yep. Well,
right now at least. All right. I guess that was the first episode to try and get everything going, and we'll see where it goes from there. I guess maybe most likely next week, episode 2. I don't know much. A lot of more information and news is coming out as the season gets closer, so there might be some more stuff to talk about. Go down memory lane, some other stuff, so we can go from there and see how it goes. And I thought this was fun, and Go again
Hey.
next week.
I enjoyed it, and it felt good getting back into the game.
Yes, and it will evolve and we'll get better and better. So for all those that are going to actually watch this, let us know what you think.
And see you at the finish line, guys.
Got it.